Well, hello, you wonderful people. This week on The Unseen, welcome back to The Unseen. Last week we talked about dreams. Daniel chapter 2 was our focus, and I really just gave an overview of it. Talked a little bit about dreams, but now this week I would like to actually give you some practical things to encourage you to take those steps if you want to grow in the area of dreaming itself, or also interpreting dreams and how to begin to step out in that. So first, I just want to say, to just draw a picture on dreams. Depending on the study you've done, if you've done any, what I believe is a faulty understanding is that dreams exist completely in just like your mind. I believe it's so much more than that. And even biblically, we see that it's more than that. So first, all right, I'm going to reword how I was going to say that. So I believe dreams are an open door into the spirit. Or, if not that it is an open door that is easily walked through by the Spirit. So to explain that, there's more than one instance of this in the Bible, but I'll just give you one really easy one. Is Joseph, who is Mary's husband, Mary who had Jesus. So it wasn't Jesus's father, it was like his unbiological father. I don't know if he was technically a stepdad, because it's not, I don't know. We'll just call Joseph Jesus' stepdad. I think it happened twice with him, specifically. If not, it did happen once, but I think it happened twice, where an angel visited Joseph in a dream. So if a dream was something purely in your mind, the question I would have is, how could an angel visit you in your mind? I would actually be as bold to say that this is what I think. I can't prove this, so that's not the point, but this is just what I think. I think that dreams are just as connected into the spirit realm as your imagination is. And I believe in your imagination and in dreams, you can connect with things, with real things, like something that has substance in the spirit realm. And so in the same way, I believe you can have angelic visitations. You could have full-on Jesus encounters, heaven encounters, all kinds of stuff in the spirit. And on the same side, many of you may have experienced this, where you have demonic encounters in your dreams. But on that same token, demons can't come into your body and your mind while you're sleeping and invade your dreams. So I actually believe that dreams, it's like a thing that exists outside of the physical, and it connects with the spirit. So you don't have to agree with me on that, but that's what I think. So for us, and I mentioned this last week, so I'm just going to kind of go a little deeper in here. I think it would be very valuable for us to learn to value dreams, because we spend so much time sleeping, right? If you're healthy, you sleep a good amount. If you don't sleep a lot, I'd encourage you to sleep more, a good healthy amount. But we spend so many hours sleeping, and dreams happen in that time, and your spirit does not sleep. So your spirit is alive and well. It is awake while you're sleeping. Just, it doesn't work the same, consciously. But your spirit is able to interact with spirit. And so why not value that time that can potentially be used for growth, for relationship with God, for having encounters, anything like that. I think there's an importance to value dreams. And so and here's just a basic principle with anything like this: what you honor will grow. So if you have dreams, I would encourage you to not brush them off, even if they seem totally silly. Write them down, and you don't have to go detail by detail, unless that's just what you like to do. You could, if you have a dream and you remember a fair amount of it, just write down some main points of what was happening. If you want to go detailed, that's fine. But just begin to write stuff down. Get a journal, a dream journal, if you will. I don't actually have one of those, but I do have notebooks that I use to record stuff like that when I have them. And so writing them down is honoring what God is giving you, or just what you are having, and then you learn to discern which is which. So begin to write stuff down. that is a great way to begin to grow, and it builds value into dreams. And so what you are valuing, what you're honoring, you'll learn to pay attention more, you'll retain more, and those things will grow. So write them down, talk to God about it. So just like Daniel did in chapter 2, and the 3, Daniel and their group, they talked to God about it. They sought him. So when you have a dream, you might not know what it means right away, but take it to him. And so here's one of the things. So this really isn't going to be a very long video, but write them down, talk to God about it, and learn to value them in that way, to actually seek God for revelation. He can give you words of wisdom, word of knowledge, discernment into what is happening, what he might be saying to you. And if you ever have learned into things of prophecy and being able to, what some will call like pulling the gold out of someone, you can use anything to prophesy into someone's life. And it's amazing how God will use what sometimes seems like the most random thing into actually like speaking directly to someone's heart. So in the same way with dreams, I believe taking those steps, even just with your own dreams between you and the Lord, that he will use anything, even if it's not technically a God dream, that he will use anything to speak to you about stuff. So value them. Seek revelation. And another one that's good is for your own dreams. If you have like a trusted friend or someone that like you can respect and trust, even if they're not perfect at it, to actually share dreams with and allow them, if they're on this kind of journey too. So like me and my wife will do this at times, or just other people in our lives will like talk about different dreams we've had when something sticks out, and allow them to actually speak to it. So even if we think we might know what it means, or maybe we don't, you actually allow someone else to take a stab at interpreting a dream. So that's a great way to bring someone else into it and to begin to value what God is saying or what he might be saying in dreams. Then here's kind of the last big one to me, is the way you interpret a dream matters. So last week I talked about it being from the right source, and that's the Holy Spirit connected with Jesus. So you can Google a lot of things for dream interpretation. You might even have books on dream interpretation, and some of them are Christian. Well, maybe. There are Christian things out there like that. But what I want to encourage you to do is to not go to any of that stuff. I'm not saying it's all wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong or that it's evil or anything like that. But what I think is more valuable is actually practicing relationship with the Holy Spirit. And that means valuing his voice first. So he might lead you to look stuff up and study things, and that might speak to interpreting something, but it's because he showed you. So I believe the most valuable thing you can do is practice relationship and value for the voice of the Holy Spirit first. And maybe that's it sometimes. I would actually encourage you to take that stretch, that if you do anything like this with interpreting dreams, to just value his voice and don't go to the other stuff. Don't Google stuff, because you'll find all kinds of interpretations for all kinds of things. I've done it before, and it's rarely helpful. And sometimes you don't really know the source that it's coming from, so that's even less helpful. But valuing his voice first. So this is just a step. If you want to practice interpreting things, ask your friends, ask someone you know, like that you want to practice that stuff. So begin to invite people to share stuff with you, in a not weird way, and just begin to practice interpreting it. But here's the thing. When someone's telling you dream stuff, you might have insight on the spot, and that's great. That can happen, especially as you grow and maybe get better at listening to them share and listening to the voice of the Holy Spirit. But just as an encouragement, when someone's sharing a dream, you don't have to have it like in the moment, the interpretation. In Daniel chapter 2, we saw Daniel and his group. They actually went and sought the Lord. Now, they had the extra step of they had to find out what the dream was, so they needed that revelation. But there's nothing wrong with waiting. You don't need to have an interpretation of a dream right away. So you can actually take time to seek God on it, because you might have some like knee-jerk reaction to things and how you might want to interpret it, but God might have a totally different thing to say and to reveal about it. So start there and maybe end there, depending. He might lead you to look stuff up, and that's okay. But don't fall back on interpreting through books or, the internet, anything like that. Go with the voice of the Holy Spirit. And that's where the best stuff comes from anyway. And also it can even be a group thing. It's okay that one person might not have the full picture. It could even be a group interpretation where different people are getting different things. So that's the other thing. I've learned this through Rachel Carroll, who has I don't know if she has a course on dreams, but she has things where she teaches about it with prophecy and the voice of God and all that. So Rachel Carroll, where she talks about how different things mean different things to people. So you can't go based off what the internet or a book might say. And the example that I've heard her use a number of times is you might have a dream with a dog in it. Okay. Now, regardless of the details of what's going on in the dream, for me, I'm not afraid of dogs. I like dogs. I'm not in love with them. I'm not crazy about dogs, but I like them. I'm not afraid of them. So the way I would interpret a dog being in my dream could be totally different than someone else who is deathly afraid of dogs and has traumatic experiences and whatever. So you can't, and a dog might mean this or that, but you actually have to go based on what the person gets from that, because God actually knows the details of each and every one of us, and he will speak to us in a language that we understand. And it's not just this overall thing and this umbrella of this means this and this means this. It can be different for different people. So encourage you to take that step. Begin to write down your dreams, value them, get a journal if you don't have one, and write stuff down. Have a trusted friend or someone that you can talk to share this kind of stuff. And, begin to take that step. Stretch yourself to interpret things and seek God on it. It can actually be really fun. So anyway, thank you for joining me. If you have any questions on dreams, dream interpretation, anything like that, just ask in the comment section down below so I can get back on that and answer any questions if I can. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week on The Unseen.